Hey guys, welcome back to BigRedEDC. Hope you guys are having a really good day. A little bit different today. Today we're not talking knives, we're not talking EDC, we're talking submarines. And you can thank our good friend Matisfaction for that one. He asked the other night, he's like, hey, would you mind doing like a submarine video or a live stream? And I was like, oh, let's do a live stream where you guys can ask questions. That sounds like fun. So here we are. That's what we're doing. Tony Boombots, Joseph F., Mike Curtis, Joe Casper, Tim B., Tony Boom, Matisfaction. Who else is here? Gonzo is here. Richard Kaufman. I know I said hit. I think I said hi to everybody. Bama Ninja, Pocket Razors. Gonzo is here. Cheeto is here. Very cool. It's awesome. Nuts for Knives 20 was here. So now a couple of things before I get started, guys. Hey, Grom, what's up, buddy? Double D10, hello. Oh, Father, welcome. Rusty's here. Everybody's jumping in now. Nice. Acid Test Kids, Bojo, Jack G, what is up? Jack is present. Nice Fast, what's going on? Manny Z. So this is a little bit different, guys. I tried to use the whole Q&A setting. Now up above where it says live chat, top chat, and all that, there should be a tab in there where you can ask a question. Now I know some of you have done that, and yes, some of you have definitely done that. Fantastic. So that's where if you have that tab and can answer your questions, and let's see, can I scroll back? Can I not? Can I scroll back? Maybe I can't. Well, that's not good because I think there's more questions than that up there. So, well, that's not good. Maybe I put it up too early. But anyway, that's where you can ask your question. If I miss a question because I can't scroll back for some reason, go ahead and ask it again, guys. Sorry about that. It's something new. So I tried to survey of property just completed. Exactly the result we expected. Oh, no. All right. So now, he's got to move his stuff. Well, good. Very cool. So, yes, if you can ask your questions there, please do. If you have to ask them in the chat, I'll try. I just don't want to miss your questions, guys. So, one other thing. What makes me think that I can talk about this subject? Well, I am a 20-year submarine vet. I've served aboard 5 fast attack submarines: USS Philadelphia, USS Pittsburgh, USS Augusta, USS Oklahoma City, and the USS Hyman G. Rickover. And I also served on 1 Trident ballistic missile submarine, the USS Nevada. Also served as a Navy recruiter for 3 years and spent 5 years in Navy special projects. So I think I know a thing or two about submarines. I think. So, but that's how we'll run with this. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Maddie, thank you so much for suggesting this. This is going to be fun. I did have a question earlier on. I think it was in the chat or the community post. But I had a question from our good friend, Q Ball. And he asked me, is there any exercise equipment on submarines, or how do you exercise? And yes, there actually is. On the Nevada, spread throughout the boat, we had 2 treadmills, 2 exercise bikes. On one floor, there's a little bit of an open area. We actually kind of had like a Nautilus weight system. Down by the let's see what else. There was free weights down there, down on lower level. We could do free weights. There was a pull-up bar. So yeah, they do have now on some of the smaller submarines. Now it's been quite a while since I've been on a 688. On the first one I was on, we had a rowing machine on one side back in the engine room, and we had a elliptical bike on the other side. So a little bit less space on the smaller fast attack submarines, so they don't quite have as much. So that was Q Ball's question. I hope I answered it for you, my friend. Thanks so much for asking. Paul Bessemer, hello, welcome. Demonoc, rule number 9. Williams Knife Life, what's going on, country boy? Very cool. Well, let's just get started. I'm gonna go to the question tab, and we're just gonna light this candle and get going. So let's see. Can I scroll back? There we go. Oh, I think it's a question from Mimo. Oh, what kind of training is involved to prepare a test for claustrophobia or confined space? There really isn't any. There really is no training to prepare you for claustrophobia, confined space. Hopefully you know that before you volunteer, because the submarine service is all volunteer. No, they can't force you on submarines. You have to volunteer for it. And yeah, there's really no training whatsoever for claustrophobia. Not at all. What's the longest amount of time you were submerged in a sub? 92 days. That question's from Mimo as well. 92 days. No, they aren't used for propulsion. Broke AZ. But yeah, 92 days was going to be that's probably the longest time I was ever submerged. So a little while. So I'm going back and forth between the chat and the questions, guys. So just checking in. Right on, my friend. Let's see. I'm just going right down the list. Mimo also asked, what are the rules for pews around the sub? 0 tolerance, 1 locked away, etc. We have ammo lockers. We have ammo lockers. We have small arms lockers. During underways, they are locked up. They are used underway in case of specific emergencies like insider threat, that type of thing. When we're in port, all the watchstanders are armed. The topside watch, the topside roving watch, the below decks watch, they are all armed. So, and there again, it's for security, but underway they are locked up in the small arms and ammo locker. And no, you can't bring your personal one. Not at all. Mimo also asked, were hearing tests used to determine the best people for sonar technician position versus mechanic or seaman, etc.? Pretty much part of your physical is everybody. Everybody gets a hearing test just as part of your submarine physical, your Navy physical. Specifically for sonar and that type of thing, no, not really. It wasn't specific for the job. It was just pretty much, can you hear? Do you have hearing loss? So not a specific test for going into sonar, though. How long can they stay down? As long as they have food. Food is the determining factor. Definitely food is the determining factor. And we could talk about, well, okay, I'll throw in a story with that one. Rumor has it, and it's been confirmed by a couple of people. There was a submarine here a few years back up here that they got extended out to sea, and basically pretty much all they were eating was chicken nuggets 3 meals a day, because they had brought their stores on board. For you always prepare for being out a little bit longer. Well, they were out a little bit longer than that, and basically they were eating nothing but chicken nuggets almost 3 meals a day. That would be terrible. Hey Byron, what's up? Not many campfires, no. So I don't know how well you like he likes chicken nuggets, does he, Maddie? Yeah, but I mean 3 times a day for rumor has it was a couple of weeks. I don't know, I wasn't there, but I mean I don't mind chicken nuggets, but after that long, yeah, I don't know. Hey Goondox, what's up? All right, next question. All right, what's your personal depth record on a submarine? I can't talk about that. I can tell you it's been greater than 300 feet. And a lot of people ask me, have I ever been to the depths that submarine imploded at? Not even remotely close. And there's no way I ever want to go that deep. No. I know what pressure does at the depths I was at. No. No. I don't want to go to a depth where there's 6,000 psi. No. Not even remotely. Pivot a bit. What's up? William, hello. Mike Reese, hello. Pretty Fly, what's going on? So, all right. Next question. But we'll just say greater than 300 feet for that question, Cheeto. Is there a height limit requirement? It doesn't seem like it, David. David Tooley asked that question. Doesn't seem like it. We had some really tall guys on the boat. I mean, we're talking guys 6'5". I don't know how they did it. I don't. There has to. I would think there has to be, but it sure didn't seem like it. If you volunteered, they pretty much took you. What was the scariest moment you faced on a sub? Well, Maddie, to be perfectly honest with you, I cannot answer that specific question as to my scariest. Now, I did say before, guys, there's going to be questions that I can't answer. And because it specifics, I can't. That's why I said kind of general. But I will tell you one of the scariest situations is when you're dead asleep and the alarm goes off and they say fire wherever. Fire is one of your worst enemies on a submarine. Obviously, fire and flooding, but fire uses up your oxygen. And if you don't have oxygen, yeah. So that can be a very scary moment, and you train for it. You run drills. I mean, that was one of my secondary duties on a submarine, as I was the nozzleman on hose team 1. We got firefighting training, and the firefighting trainers here on base, they put you into a room and they just light that sucker on fire and they say, go to town, put it out. So that can be a very scary moment. Fire in wherever, flooding in wherever, and you're dead asleep. Hey, Gnarly Charlie. Hey, Sobix. Yeah, that'll get your blood pumping. Let me tell you, that will get your blood pumping. And the worst one is probably a fire in the battery well, because not only are you dealing with fire, you have to put it out. But if a battery fire happens, it creates all sorts of toxic gas. And yeah, and there was one on a diesel submarine here, the USS Bonefish. And that was really crazy. Hey, TC, what's going on? Addicted to Knives, hello, welcome. Matt Michaels, welcome. So, fire in the battery well is truly a frightening phrase all by itself. Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt, Grom. Without a doubt. So those are probably some pretty scary moments on a submarine, you know? So, whew. Ever think that you were about to? No, never like that, Broke AZ. No, never thought that. So many hazards underwater. Yes, Jack. That is TC from SMKW. Well, I am a man. I'm not sure about a myth or a legend, but I'm definitely a man. Let me see. Yep, still am. Okay, very good. All right, let's see. Next question. Bama says, were there any close calls with Russian subs, Jay, if it's not classified? Well, you know the answer to that, Bama. Definitely classified. Definitely classified. Were you ever in a situation on submarines where you felt like your life was in danger? That goes back to my scariest moment, Richard. I'll say once. I'll say once. There was one time. Yes. What class of sub were you on? I did answer that earlier, but I was on five Los Angeles class submarines and one Trident ballistic missile submarine. Those are the 6 submarines I served on. What was the longest amount of time you were submerged? Yep, 92 days of 92, 91, 92. I think it was 92. PNW Fun Stuff asks, how long would the sub be submerged? There you go. And how often would you surface? I know it depends on the situation, just curious. You would go out and you would submerge and you wouldn't resurface until you were ready to pull into port, for the most part. That's your whole job. Go out there, hide, and do your thing. I knew I'd get this question. What was my favorite food on the sub? Well, I tell you what, food can do amazing things for the morale on a submarine. It can definitely be, yeah, morale. Obviously, morale on a submarine's big, and food has a lot to do with that. Probably my favorite meals on the submarine were Saturday night for dinner was usually pizza night. They would make homemade pizzas on Saturday night. That was good. Sunday night was surf and turf, you know, but you're talking frozen steak and frozen like shrimp. You'd have lobster tail once or twice, frozen lobster tail, but hey, not bad. Let's see, what was another good meal? Chicken wheels. Everybody liked the chicken wheels. They were basically just the frozen chicken patties. That one was pretty popular. My favorite meal was probably breakfast, as long as you had fresh eggs. Powdered eggs, not so much. So breakfast was probably my favorite meal, as long as you had, and you'd only had fresh eggs for maybe 2 weeks if you were lucky. 2 weeks. That's what I heard. That's what I heard, David. You know, they always say submarines have the best food. It also depends on the cooks, because they would screw up a lot of stuff. Trust me. That's back to where I said food has a lot to do with the morale on a submarine. So yeah. But ever on an LA class? Oh, we had problems with our towed array systems all the time, Byron. Yeah, we did. Yeah, just open the window and get fresh fish. Yeah, right. Yeah, we had. How many people on the different submarines? I think on the smaller ones, we had a crew of about 115 to 120. And on the larger ones, you have a crew of about, oh, shoot, what was our crew on the Nevada? I think it was somewhere between 130 and 140. So a few more. I mean, they're a little bit bigger, obviously. So you have a few more, not a lot. So let's see. All right, back to it. All right, next questions. Oh, Father asked, did it take you a long time to get used to confined spaces? Not at all. Not at all. It never bothered me a bit. Never did. Never bugged me. What training was done to test people to prepare for? Oh, there you go. Michael asked that question again. Yeah, none. Nothing. How many people lost fingers wearing rings? None where I was, Joe. But that's a definite concern. That's what they tell you, you know. But none where I was. Pretty Fly said, do submarines have sewage tanks? If so, how fast do they fill up and how do you empty it? That's a great question, Pretty Fly. That's an excellent question. Yes, you have. Oh, You do have sanitary tanks. Obviously, the larger submarines have more. I think on the fast attack we had, oh God, you guys are making me think, 3 sanitary tanks, and on the bigger ones we had 4, I believe. And how do you get rid of it? Well, you can either pump it overboard with the sand pump, with the sanitary pump, or you pressurize the tank and blow it overboard. Now, both of those things make sound, make noise, and noise is the enemy of a submarine. So you would try to do it as little as possible. Underway, or import, you usually pump once a day. And you pump to the pier, and that, like I said, you would use a sanitary pump for that, and you just pump to a tank on the pier. But underway, that's how you do it. Did you have the same job description on each sub deployment, or did it change? No, it was the same thing. I was a sonarman. I did the same job no matter what type of submarine. My job was to listen, find the bad guys and go get them, or find the bad guys and get away from them, depending on what type of submarine you were on. On a fast tank, you had to get them, and on a Trident missile submarine, you hid from them. Do you actually launch to see sailors through the torpedo tubes? I know somebody asked that. I think I was on your live stream, wasn't it, Maddie? Somebody asked, what if somebody dies on the submarine? And my answer to that was, we have freezers. And if you're in a situation where you can't get somewhere fast, we have freezers. The torpedo tube, that was a kind of a joke. That was kind of a joke. But yes, we have freezers. That's what you would have to do. How do you deal with the smell? You just do. You just do. So a couple of ones, that goes back to the sanitary tanks. One time we were in a place and we couldn't do a lot of that type of thing. So what they would do is they would pressurize the tank enough to where it would blow out, but then they would vent the tank inboard. And what I mean, they would vent the tank into the submarine. They had to, due to the noise. You want to talk about one horrific smell. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Terrible. Terrible. The other smell story, we were on a deployment and our cooks packed the freezers really well. The only problem is they packed it too well, and the meat that was in the middle didn't freeze. So like halfway through deployment, they kind of do a freezer, a freezer clean out. And they discovered, oh my goodness, pocket razors. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. King Snake Jake, Joe Isabella, Sharp Guy, Gnarly Charlie, and Dwayne Letterman. Man, I think you all got your stars back. That is super cool. Thank you so much, Mark. I greatly appreciate you, man. Halfway through the deployment, they discovered pocket razors. Yes, we did. We found him. Thank you so much. Now, guys, if you have done that before and I haven't seen it, sorry, I am going back and forth in between the chat, and the chat does reset every time I go back to the questions. So I'm trying to switch back and forth so I don't miss anything. But yeah, the meat did not freeze. And can you imagine the smell of rotten meat in a submarine? It was almost worse than the sewage. And we had to deal with that for a while. Yeah. That was kind of gnarly. That was kind of gnarly. Hey, Shane, what's up? Tom, hello. Welcome, welcome. King Snake Jake, there he is. Watch City, what's going on? Dwayne Letterman, hello. But yeah, it was pretty nasty. Joe Isabella, my goodness, gifting a membership. Dasso, what's going on? And for those of you, if you're a brand new member, same as any other time, email me BigRedEDC@gmail.com, and we'll get you some swag out. So if you've never been a member before and you get gifted a membership, just shoot me an email, guys. Let's see. Tim says grandfather was telling me that when he enlisted before World War II, he took the horse to a local big town. Army and Navy were there. He said yes. Said they asked sleep in a ditch or bed, so he chose Navy. Yeah, well. Yeah, exactly, William. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Can you call home every day? Not even remotely, Beefer. Not even remotely. When I first came in the Navy, we had what we called family grams, and you got 25 words. And you could send them, the families could send you a family gram. You could not communicate with your family at all, but they could send you a message. So imagine 25 words every month. That was pretty much our communication. What's the sunlight? You got to be careful. You got to be careful, King Snake, with sunlight after you've been down that long. You definitely do. All right. Back to the old question board. What's the approximate height of the tallest person you know on a submarine? 6'6". I knew a guy that was 6'6" on a submarine. I think he was the tallest. Is there a height limit or requirement? There again, no. Short would be better for your own health. I did pretty well. Ian G says, are there screen doors? No screen doors. Is the captain able to dish out death sentence in the name of mutiny? I don't believe in the Navy mutiny is still punishable by death. It very well may be. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I know you can get, they chuck you somewhere and lock you up. What's the furthest away you've detected a noise? Ah, nice. Well over 100 miles. Well over 100 miles, Mimo. And that all depends on wind or the sound conditions. And the three biggest things that affect sound underwater are temperature, pressure, and the salinity of the water. Those are the three biggest things. So if conditions are right, you can hear things from a long ways away. Now that you're older and know what you do about your current job, would you still want to get back on a submarine again? Not to deploy. I did my time. I'm done. And I'm too old. I'm too old to go up and down those ladders all the time anymore. Did you serve on a co-ed crew? Are there co-ed crews? Absolutely. There are now, David. There are co-ed crews now. As a matter of fact, the ballistic missile submarines, I think there's 2 of them here that have women aboard them. I never served in a co-ed crew. Women were not on submarines when I was in. I think they were just starting to come in when I was on the Nevada. But yes, they definitely are. They definitely are. 2 things that are on submarines now that weren't when I was, and I'll let you figure out the correlation, but women and diaper genies. You figure it out. You can't write in the chat? Oh no, Leela. That's weird. Are your shins torn up from the doorways? Oh, I've cracked a shin more than once. Absolutely, because you're going through the passages and they're just big holes and they're all metal. So oh yeah, cracked a shin more than once. Can you hear whales? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what you hear the most. Whales, dolphins, shrimp. There was a thing called a boing fish. And the reason it was called a boing fish was because it made a sound like boing. That's exactly what it sounded like. It sounded like it went boing. So that's the boing fish. But oh yeah, you hear whales, dolphins, and that was kind of cool. Now it got old after a while when that's all you heard. But yeah. definitely, you hear all sorts of wildlife like that. Ice is a crazy one. When ice is moving and rubbing together, sometimes it sounds like a woman screaming. That's eerie. That's really eerie. If the tube is rocking, don't come a knocking. Yeah, Leela, try it. Maybe reloading the chat or something. It's okay now? Good. Cemetery Gates, hello. Going back and forth. Let's see if I can, somebody jumped in. I can say hi to them. All right. Back to the questions. Let's see here. All right. Shins, whales. Das Boot or Red October? Das Boot. Red October was good, but Das Boot. How many people share each bunk? There are times when people do hot rack. That was more prevalent on the fast attack submarines. It all depends. Now, my first deployment was 45 days, and me and another young sailor kind of checked on roughly about the same time. We were on an 8 hours on, 8 hours off rotation, and we shared a bunk. So one would get out, one would get in. Usually how they do the hot racking is 3 guys share 2 bunks. And it's just kind of because you used to normally work on an 18-hour day. You were on for 6 hours, off for 12. That has changed. And now they're running 3 8-hour shifts. So you're more on like a 24-hour day. But 3 guys would share 2 bunks. That's normally how the hot racking situation. And it was usually the most junior sailors. And it happened frequently, not a lot. How fast can a sub go from cruising depth to the surface in emergency events like a fire? You get there quick, Maddie. When you do an emergency blow, you get there quick. And if you've seen the Hunt for Red October, when that boat comes out of the water, that's an emergency blow, and that's exactly what it's like. That is exactly what they did. They did an emergency blow, and you can get to the surface really quick. Absolutely. Casey asks, were you as good a sonar tech as Seaman Jones, or did you ever tell the captain you were just cavitating? Well, I didn't have all the fancy equipment Jonesy had because it doesn't exist. But yes, that was part of our, if you had to tell, you could hear when you were cavitating, and you had to tell the officer of the deck when you were cavitating, because that's extra noise you don't want to make. If somebody dropped something like on the deck of the hull, you would call away a transient from own ship, and they would figure out where it came from and smack the guy that did it, because any sound that submarine generates could give it away. So yeah. What happened when you don't get along with someone on a submarine? Avoid them. And that's the biggest thing, you know, and it's like that out here in the normal world, you know. If somebody's picking on you and just goofing with you, they probably like you. If they don't talk to you, they probably don't like you. So there was probably a few people that didn't like me. That's okay. Were the subs you served on nuclear? Yes, the Navy does not have any diesel-powered submarines anymore. They're all nuclear-powered, run by reactor. I think the last one may have been the Bonefish when they had their fire. So the Dolphin might have been around even after the Bonefish, but it hasn't been around for a long time. But all the ones I served on, yes, were nuclear-powered. What are some of the mile markers for bubbleheads? South Hemisphere, for instance. Oh, are you talking about like crossing the equator was definitely one. Crossing the international date line was one. The equator is shellback. The date line is Order of the Dragon. If you cross the equator and the international date line at the same place, that's Golden Dragon. And if the North Pole, the Arctic Circle, that was Order of the Blue Nose. And you have a ceremony and you get a certificate and all that good stuff. So that's kind of what we did for sure. Tell them about the two different hulls. Well, pretty much all submarines are HY80 anymore. HY80 and HY100. So, did you get to go to the Arctic Circle? Many times, Maddie, many times. Many times. I am a member of the Order of the Blue Nose several times over. We still use diesel subs? If yes, down Periscope. No, diesel subs have been gone for a long time. They've been gone for quite a while. Were you married? Did you have kids while you served? Absolutely. To both of those questions. I got married before I went to my first submarine. Both boys. My oldest son was born while we were in the shipyard in Kittery, Maine, when I was on the Philadelphia. And then while I was in the shipyard, I did patrols with the Pittsburgh and the Augusta. And then I was on recruiting duty with when my youngest son was born. So I got to be at both births. So that's cool. I got to be there. But then soon after I went to special projects. We were gone a lot there and then deployed on the Nevada. So definitely. Absolutely. And I was married before I ever got to my first boat. Have you ever witnessed a captain play golf on a submarine? No. No. Once the sub is submerged, are you always on duty? That's a good question, Cheeto. And the answer to it is kind of yes. I kind of described our days. When I was on, you were on for 6 hours and off for 12. Off for 12 meant that was the time you were supposed to do maintenance on your equipment. That's the time where you could sleep, work out. In the evenings after dinner, they would play a movie in the mess deck. So if you were qualify, that's the biggest thing, qualifying on a submarine. You have to go through a pretty intense qualification process. You get a year to qualify. You get a year to basically learn the entire submarine and be able to draw the ventilation system, draw the water systems, the main seawater, the plumbing systems. Ventilation is a big one because in a fire, you have to know where to secure ventilation so it doesn't, so smoke and stuff doesn't spread. But yeah, and you have 12 months, and I've seen people not do it. So, what was my shortest tour of duty? Shortest deployment. I mean, on a fast attack, you would go out for like a week or two at times. Normally you're stationed on a boat for 4 years on average. That's pretty much how long you're actually attached to a submarine. And my shortest deployment, the fast attacks would go out for a week here and there. The first time I was ever out to sea, we were supposed to be gone for, I think, a week, and we came back 45 days later. And we came back 45 days later because we had certain munitions on board that were needed somewhere in the world. And we went to that portion of the world and used them. So, oh, excuse me. But were you always on duty? Sorry about that, Cheeto. I wanted to say, when you're off, and you're oncoming or offgoing, that depends on the role. That really determines the roles you play in emergencies. Like offgoing, you're like for a fire, you're the guy that goes to the mess decks, dresses out in a firefighting ensemble. Like you see the guys in the fire trucks. You put on your turnout gear and you go fight the fire. When you're in your 6 hours of oncoming, you were like the relief crew. So the offgoing guys would go, and then the oncoming guys would go get dressed out. They'd keep a time, okay, you guys need to go relieve them, and then you would go relieve them. So are you always on duty? Kind of. Yes. You are always kind of. What's the biggest caliber I shot during the service? 223. 223 was the biggest things we carried. A 12 gauge. I mean, I guess that's pretty big, but started out 45, 12 gauge, and 223, and then they swapped over from the 45 to the Beretta 9mm when you're on watch. So, did you ever work with a guy named Scott Pace? My boss is on subs. That's not a name I recognize. Scott Pace. No, not a name I recognize. Is the fresh air on a submarine tanked, or is it just a system to pull oxygen out of seawater? That's a fantastic question, too. You do make your own oxygen from seawater. You had a thing on the boat called an oxygen generator, and you took the seawater and you split the oxygen, you split the hydrogen, and you pumped the hydrogen overboard and stored the oxygen in tanks. That's exactly what you did. But when you split hydrogen by electrolysis, and hydrogen and spark don't go together very well, so the oxygen generator was known as the bomb, because that's basically kind of what it was. How would you rate John Bon Jovi's performance on U-571? I thought it was pretty good, actually. Did you ever see a sea creature you're not allowed to talk about? No. No. Did you ever do one ping only? Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you don't go active very often, because there again, it gives away your position. So you don't do it very often. Oh, when you lived in the Puget Sound, deep channel in front, we could see subs doing emergency blows? Really? Wow. That's cool. Do sea folks have superstitious feelings towards the Bermuda Triangle, or is that... No, there's definitely superstitious feelings about the triangle. Absolutely. Does the ping hurt sea animals? Some people say it does. I don't know. I don't know if it really does. I know active sonar can be an anti-intrusion for divers. Let's see. Were the billets long enough for a 6 foot? The beds were right about... The racks that we slept in, they were about 6 foot, maybe a little longer. So some of those teller guys were definitely cramped. They were definitely cramped. Did you ever have to take a person back topside because they freaked out? Nope. Never had to do that, Jake. Never had to do that. Never had anybody freak out. What's it like to hear whales? It is kind of cool. I'll be honest with you. It's kind of cool. Well, like I said, after a while, it can get a little bit old, Rusty, because that's all you hear. But it's cool. It is cool. All the different stuff you hear, it's cool. Maddie asks, what's the protocol for subs using sonar near civilians? Oh, no. Never. Never. Like I said, when we're in port, and we have divers go, because divers have to go over every once in a while, you would make sure the active sonar systems were secured, tagged out, so they had no power. No. Never. Can satellites detect submerged subs from space now? Well, supposedly they were working on that. I mean, if you surface, sure. Submerged, I think it's a little harder. Did you ever play a joke and cover the periscope with an octopus drawing? No, that's funny though. It's cool. It is cool to listen to the wildlife out there, Paul. It is cool. It's pretty awesome. What was the biggest surprise to me entering sublife? Asked Tim. Well, the biggest surprise. What was the biggest surprise? Wow. You kind of stumped me on that one. What was the biggest surprise? I guess just it never bothering me. It just never did. Never bothered me at all. It's like being in a room with no windows. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. And I never got seasick. Coming from Nebraska, never got seasick. That was kind of a surprise. Any alcohol or tobacco permitted on board? Alcohol, no. Tobacco, you used to be able to smoke on submarines. Now I think it's pretty much cannexed. I mean, people smoked, people dipped. Used to be able to do that quite often. Anymore, I'm not so sure you can. Things have changed quite a bit. I mean, they were changing while I was in, because some of the places that you were able to smoke, you couldn't smoke anymore. But alcohol is definitely not permitted. Was it there? I can neither confirm nor deny. Are there any windows to see out? No, no windows. Just periscope. That's your only window. What's worse, a fart on a submarine or a fart in a sealed car? Probably in a car, to be perfectly honest with you. Probably in a car. All right, let's go back to the chat for a minute and say hi to some people. Do you get sea legs from being on a submarine? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. You definitely get sea legs. Andrew Halbert, what's up, buddy? Yeah, Salamando, it was pretty cool, though. It was pretty cool. Do you think a no, I don't, Broke AZ. I don't think it would be good training at all, because in space you have weightlessness, and that is something your body really has to get used to. Oh, Double D10 said, did your sub ever have ever fire on an enemy? Well, you know I can't talk about that. Sorry. Can't talk about that. No, can't see the sun. No sun for 92 days. Unless you're looking through the periscope. Yeah, it's definitely different. Underwater in space is completely different. Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you, KC. All right, let's go back to the questions. It always resets on me. Out of all the jobs in the Navy, why'd you volunteer for sub duty? Sounded cool. I was 17, Maddie. I was 17 and wanted to get out of Nebraska. Sounded cool. I got nothing more than that, my friend. I got nothing more than that. Oh, what off-duty activities were there on a sub? You could work out, sleep. Sleep was always a priority. Work out, like I said, they'd have movies in the evenings on the mess decks after dinner. You could watch a movie. And then once, the gaming systems and stuff got the Trident submarines, they actually have what they call a cruise lounge. It's not very big. You could probably fit, well, you could pack some people in there, because we did. And you could play, you could hook up an Xbox or whatever to the TV and play that, watch movies. In the cruise library, there were 3 computers, so you could study, use computer games, qualify. If you're new on board, the only thing you should be doing is qualifying. It used to be that non-qualified individuals weren't allowed to watch movies on the mess decks. You should be qualifying. You should be qualifying. You shouldn't be watching movies. After spending some of the time underwater, do you lose a sense of when it's day and when it's not? Oh, absolutely, Bojo. And does it affect how much? Yeah, because, and like I said, we were even working on an 18-hour day. So you'd lose track of days, day, night, what day of the week. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, you would. During World War II, the Kriegsmarine had an over 75% U-boat casualty rate. Are any of the lessons learned from those? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and there's been some recent unfortunate happenings on submarines. But absolutely, that all gets that everything that has happened previously on a submarine gets wrapped into how they build, how your procedures. Absolutely 100%. Did you learn the difference between the whale sounds? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could tell the difference between a blue whale, sperm whale. Yes, you could. Dolphins. Different dolphins make different types of sound. Absolutely. Does everything have to be loaded and unloaded through the hole in the hatch in the top of the sub? That's how it gets there. Absolutely, Tim. Oh, Father. That is exactly how it gets there. And on a fast attack submarine, we used to have to do it hand over hand. So all your food, all your, like smaller munitions and stuff like that. Absolutely. It was all loaded by hand through the hatch. And okay, here's just a little story. We'll throw some sea stories in there from time to time. While I was on the Philadelphia, we were doing a loadout, getting ready to go to sea. And you have these boxes. The boxes are only yay by yay, but they're lead weight. Hey, Scott Ann, what's up, my friend? Don C, hello, welcome. But they're heavy. They're like 80 pounds a piece. And we were loading those on the boat. And there was a guy at the bottom of the hatch. We were going down one level. And the guy at the top of the hatch, he lost control of the box as they were handing him. And it went down, and the guy at the bottom of the ladder had his foot on the bottom rung of the ladder, and the box came down and hit his ankle and broke his ankle. Needless to say, he did not go underway with us because we were getting ready to leave. We were getting ready to go underway. And yeah, that was an unfortunate incident. Now on the Trident submarines, you can actually pull their escape pods out, escape hatches. You can pull those out, and there's a rail system set up, and they get all their like food and stuff like that in these big boxes that you lower down with a crane. But on a fast attack submarine, we had to lower it. We had to do it all by hand. Do they have a gym? Not necessarily. There is workout equipment though. Hello, Casey. So no windows, no nothing like that. Never found Davy Jones' locker, thank goodness. If I found Davy Jones' locker, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. Let's see. King Snake says, in honest opinion, do you think there is a megalodon or something? So, dude, the ocean is so big, and so who knows what's down there, man. I'm not going to say there isn't one. Dude, there's stuff that, I don't know, a large percentage of the ocean has still never been discovered. So, I don't know what's down there, man. Jack G says, my question got all messed up. My apologies. I meant to say, does the Navy use them as an example for lessons nowadays? Oh, and no, I got your question. I completely understand. And yes, absolutely. Absolutely they do. Does Red Route 1 really happen? Can you say? Well, Paul, I don't know what Red Route 1 is. So I would have to say no. I have never heard of that. Is it true they use an Xbox controller for the periscope now? Well, to be completely honest with you, I haven't been on any of the newer Connecticut class submarines, but I know they were going to a lot of that type of technology, Maddie. So it very well could be. I honestly don't know. But it wouldn't surprise me. Oh, Father said, do you have to do or take anything to compensate for the lack of sunlight? Vitamin D. A lot of us took vitamin D, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is every sandwich on a submarine a sub? No. No, we did have submarine sandwiches, though. Best food is still probably pizza and breakfast. Do JAG and NCIS adequately represent submariners? Oh. I mean, not really. Not really. Pocket Razor said, do you have a favorite sub that you served on? Sorry if you already answered it. I'm only on for bits of my favorite time in the Navy was when I was with Navy Special Projects. During those 2 times, that was my favorite time. Again, I can't really talk about that because I know I can't talk about some of the submarine stuff in general, but Special Projects was even more so. I had a top secret security clearance there. We had to take polygraphs and everything, and they would ask you, have you ever talked about anything? And but my time, what we did at Devron 5 Special Projects was by far my most favorite time I was in the Navy, without a doubt. Maddie says, how do you feel about not being able to talk to family for long periods of time? My mom would go radio silent for 9 months. Sometimes it was hard as a kid. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I couldn't communicate with them at all. They sent me familygrams, and it was 25 words, and you had to choose your words wisely. Yeah. And it was hard. It was hard, especially with kids, with little kids, and absolutely. Now, on surface ships, you got phones, you got internet, you got all that good stuff. You can communicate. Not on a submarine. Not on a submarine. Do subs have little stores to buy things like candy or whatever? No. Submarines did not. You had to bring that type of stuff with you. Now, ships do. Ships have ship stores, but submarines do not. You just don't have extra space to store that type of stuff. So no, you were on your own there. Was there ever a sound you knew was sea life but could not identify? Oh, sure. Absolutely, PNW. Absolutely. There definitely was. There definitely was times where I'm like, I know that's something not man-made, but I don't know what it is. Shrimp sounds like baking frying, just so you know. It sounds exactly like bacon and grease frying. That's exactly what it sounds like. On a sub, how's the coffee and how much were you allowed? Oh, you could drink as much coffee as you wanted, and it sucked because guys didn't know how to make coffee. Most of the time, it was like motor oil. So if you like that type of coffee, it would have been good. But yeah. Oh, you could drink as much as you want. Detected any wreckage of military, civilian, or alien? No, we really didn't do that type of thing. Joe, no, never did anything like that. Did you ever watch Sequest? Did you laugh or think that it might work? I have watched it. It's funny. It's good. I kind of liked it. Would it work? I don't know so much. All right. Well, I made it to the end of the questions over there. Let's see if we got questions here in the chat. Did you ever watch? Oh, there you go. He did it there too. Or they must post here as well. Maybe they post in both spots. Okay. Apply to the PNW natives. Always too hot, too cold, or too wet. Yeah, pretty much. Did you launch SEALs? No, I never did any SEAL ops. Some do. Absolutely. That's called espresso. Oh, espresso would have been okay. This was not espresso. This was now on board. Yes, they do have, like machines like that you can do all the stuff like that. But Air Force coffee was the same, like drinking 30-weight. Yeah, it was nasty. No corn dogs? Oh, we had corn dogs. We had corn dogs on the boat. Absolutely. Yeah, corn dogs. Oh, what did we call the little chicken cordon bleus? What did we call them? Shoot, now I can't remember. Fresh vegetables and stuff like that, and eggs and milk, fresh milk. That lasted about 2 weeks ish, depending. And like the fresh vegetables and stuff would get stored in the bilge because it's one of the coldest places on the boat. So stuff like that, vegetables and stuff would get stored in a cool space like that. Now being in a bilge, you had to worry about water and moisture and mold. It happens. But that's how they did it, so they didn't take up space in the refrigerator. So did you ever listen to coworkers' conversations through sonar? No. Rats? No, never saw one of those. Never saw one. Well, not the four-legged kind. There was a couple of two-legged kind, but hey, that's anywhere. No Starbucks. No Starbucks. Oh, thank you, Salamando. Thank you very much. What's long, hard, and full of semen? I wonder. What knife did you carry back then? There you go. For the longest time in the Navy, I carried a Buck 110. Bucks were big. A lot of guys carried bucks. And then I'd say probably halfway through my service, everybody started carrying multi-tools. You know, Gerbers, Leathermans. You really didn't carry, for the longest time, I just carried a multi-tool. I didn't carry an actual, knife, just a multi-tool with a blade on it. So that was quite, a lot of people carried multi-tools. That was just kind of the thing at the time, I guess. Did you know Captain F.W. Rome? I did not. Did not know that, Captain. Blue Rats? Yeah, it was something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. Weirdest thing I ever heard on sonar? Probably underwater seismic activity. That and ice. Those are the two weirdest things I ever heard. Because like underwater, underwater seismic activity, that just was a really low frequency, weird noise. And ice was just the opposite. It was really high frequency, eerie. Yeah. So those are probably the two weirdest things I ever heard. What years were you in the Navy, and was it all on subs? Yes, all on subs, and I was in from 1989 to 2009. I retired off the Nevada in 2009. Was there a jail cell on the sub? No. But if somebody got out of line, they would be... It never happened. So, honestly, I don't know where we would put them. It never happened while I was on. There was no, detention room or anything like that. I don't know where they would put them. Maybe in the EXO stateroom. Maybe. Lock them in there. Anybody get one of the sprint run subverts? I did not. How thick of ice can the sun break through? I'm not sure, Beefer. There were leads. You would have to, if you wanted to go through the ice, which some submarines were built to do, not all, but some, you would have to find a lead, which is basically a crack in the ice, a thinner spot in the ice to break through. But I don't know how thick the ice is for sun to get through. I don't know. Were you able to determine different ships and subs by their sound signatures? Absolutely 100%. Absolutely 100%. I can tell you the difference between a merchant ship, a warship, a submarine. I could even, depending on some of the information you get, I could even tell you I could break it down to the class and maybe even the specific. Because certain vessels put off certain frequency signatures that nobody else does. And you could, yeah. Yep. I still use, yeah, like a screen door on a submarine. Exactly. It's a long time. Oh, yeah. It went by quick. I can tell you that. 20 years went by quick. You can't go to head number 3, JB. JB has been acting up. Pirates? No, we never did anything with pirates. And I don't think submarines do. They were using some of the older submarines in drug interdiction. Yeah. Some of the, when the older submarines before they went to, they'd use them for coastal and they'd use them for drug interdiction. I never got to do any of that cool stuff, but they did. Do you swim in the ocean now, JB? Sure. Sure. Absolutely. Let's see. In the merchant marines, you get handcuffed to your bunk until the next port. Yeah. That would be a way to do it. Hey, Samurai Bird, what's up? The boat whisperer. Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely, you could tell a specific vessel by the sound and the sound frequency that they were putting off. Absolutely. When was the Nevada commission? As in, it's still in service? Yes, it is definitely still in service. We just worked on it, as a matter of fact. When was it commissioned? Oh God, now you're really gonna test me. Oh, 83? 83 maybe is when it was commissioned. That's what's sticking in my head, Sonny. 83, I think. No, no peg legs, no parrots. Do I ever miss being on a sub? No. No. I mean, I still go down on them when we're working on them. I still go down there. Still have to go down below and stuff. And do I miss it? No. Would I change what I did? Not for a minute. I would not change. I don't. I have no regrets about my service, what we did, but I'm done. I'm too old. Too old anymore. I think you missed the have you ever heard a whale fart question. Well, I don't think I did. I probably did. Who knows? Do you habitually try to identify the cause of any sound? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's your job. That's your job. 100%. Other than other countries, what was the biggest danger to a sub? Fire. Fire. Fire is the biggest enemy of any submarine, other than, wartime or anything like that. Fire. Fire is your biggest enemy, because fire will take your oxygen away. And yeah. 85. Okay. All right. Thank you for looking that up, Casey. 85. I was thinking 83, but 85. Okay. It's probably right. That wasn't an easy job being on a submarine. I don't think it was hard. Really, I don't. Like I said, it was just, never bothered me. Sure, Jake, this was fun. This was really fun. What's the worst job on a sub? Oh, probably a machinist mate. Probably a machinist mate, because they own so much equipment on the boat. I mean, they own the water systems, the plumbing systems, the air systems. Machinist mates probably get the least sleep of anybody. So that's probably. Do I know Captain Craig Champion? Nope, that's not a name that is familiar to me. Sorry, Watch City. How realistic is life on a submarine in the movies? And what are the biggest BS you've seen? The biggest BS is, what was it? A Crimson Tide, when the captain had his dog and the dog's peeing everywhere. Yeah, no. 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 How many How many footloose would it take to get from one end of the Nevada to the other? Well, they're 580 feet long, and you could not walk from one end to the other inside. Not at all. Favorite, most realistic movie involving a submarine? Well, The Hunt for Red October had a lot of stuff like that. I mean, they had a boat doing an emergency blow, that type of thing. As far as new, realistic as far as today's submarines, they had a lot of realistic stuff in there. Absolutely. What was the model of the USS Nevada? Battleborn. That was its motto. That was the Nevada's motto. Battleborn. Hey, Revolving Blades. Sorry if I missed you earlier. Like I said, I was bouncing back. Let me go back to the questions real quick. I think they're posting both places. Yeah, they are. Okay, cool. Are there a lot of superstitions on a sub? Not really. Not really. Not that I ever really... No. What was my favorite moment on a submarine? Halfway night. Halfway night was always fun. You know, if you were on a long deployment, we did what we called a halfway night. And you would get to play poker, and they'd do all sorts of little stuff like that. They'd have spades tournaments, hearts tournaments, poker tournaments. They'd have some special, they'd make some sort of special meal and stuff like that. Halfway nights were always usually pretty fun. Went to school with several submariners. All were really smart. You found all the smart ones then, Jim. Captain David Marquette, excuse me. No, that is not a name I am familiar with. Did I get it right, Casey? Sorry, I didn't see your... Google says Silent Sentry. Oh, that was one too. Battleborn, I guess, was our chance. Silent Sentry was on the patch, I guess. So it's right. It's right. Battleborn, I guess, was always more of our... I called that a motto. That was always kind of like our chant or whatever. So yeah, Silent Sentry. I guess if you can handle isolation, it's just a job. But oh, absolutely. What's your favorite model of sub throughout their history? Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know about that one, man. I'd have to say an 88 because that's the one I was on the most. How big of an opening is the hatch? They are 21 inches in diameter. Or 21 inches across. Was there alcohol? No. No, not permitted. Planescrafter. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. There are women on submarines now, a couple of them, yep. Halfway night is the midpoint of the mission. Yeah, Maddie, for sure. For sure. Did anything besides torpedoes get sent out of the torpedo tubes? No, not really. Not really. Snakes on a sub. That would be funny. Was there a library on board? Yeah, actually there was. The Fast Attacks, it was more of just like a little locker, but there was all sorts of books in there. We'd get books donated from libraries and stuff like that. And then ballistic missile submarines, they have what they call the cruise library. And it's a small room. There's enough for like, what was there, 3-4 computer like little small cubicles, and there were books and stuff in there. There were books in the cruise lounge too. So yeah, yep. No, no, all nuclear, Samurai, all nuclear powered. Yep, all nuclear. So, wow, right on. Wow, I've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. So what'd you think, guys? Was that Maddie? I'll ask you for sure. What did you think? Was that worth it? Was that cool? Did I give you what you wanted? So was there a risk of exposure to radiation? Absolutely. Absolutely. There were certain spaces you weren't supposed to hang out. You always wore a lithium fluoride TLD. That measures how much you get. Now you don't get much. You get more radiation being out in the sun. You really do. Did people ever steal your stuff? That is one of the worst things on a submarine, Beefer. Maddie says, excellent stream. Well, terrific. I'm glad we could do that for you, my friend. This was fun. This was really fun. The worst thing on a submarine is a thief. And yes, there were. Nope, nothing glowing. Nothing glowing. So I tell you what, guys. Before we go, you guys know I like giving stuff away. So let's do a little giveaway, guys. I appreciate all your questions. This was a lot of fun. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I did. It was very fun. So before we go away, before we leave, let's do a little giveaway. Okay? It's not a lot. It's not a lot. Yeah, unfortunately, there are thieves. There's thieves everywhere. But since we're talking about submarines and everything, how about we give away one of these? And it's probably not going to focus on it. Oh, there you go. It's a Strategic Weapons Facility Swift Pack coin. This is where I work at right now. On the back, it says peace through strength. There's the different types of missiles that were on the boats. So let's do a little giveaway. And I will give away one of these coins to our winner. So we're going to do the rules. Rules are always all the same on the channel. Oh, thank you very much, Tim B. You are a very good friend. You are a very good friend as well. All of you are. All of you are. I appreciate you guys. You don't know how much I appreciate you guys. So how many do we got in here? We got 66 people in here. All right, so let's do... Well, let's not do that. Let's do that. All right, let's start over. All right, I'll just do that. I'll pick a number. Hey, G-Ball, what's up, buddy? Oh, no. All right. I got a better one. All right, here we go. All right. I have a range and I have a number. You want to give away a big red coin? Maybe because you got an extra one? So, Beefer, do you want me to... We'll just do it all at the same time? Are you cool with that? The winner will get this coin and a BigRedEDC coin. Are you cool with that? Okay. He says sure. Very cool. All right, so let's see. One of my moderators who's in here. Tim's a moderator. Tim, will you just throw up a start on the screen, please? And when you do that, I will give you your range and we'll give away a couple of coins. Oh, you're okay. Thank you, Casey. All right, there's the start. Sorry about that. There's the start. 600 to 800, guys. 600 to 800. That is your range. Good luck to you. Now, remember, if you win, I will share your information with Beefer as well. So he can, I see what you guys are doing. I see what you guys are doing. Yeah, come on. Come on now. No, it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be that easy. Come on now. I'd have like a 23-way tie if I did that. Easter egg on the hat. Right. All right. So Tim B gave me the start. So Casey, when I ask you if you would throw up some stop signs, not yet. Not yet. I will ask you to throw up some stop signs here in a little bit when they slow down. So, but yeah. I know that's what you wanted, several of them. Like, I think like at least 50 to 75% of the first few guesses were all 733. That's funny. If you guys want to get rid of that guess and guess a different number, you're more than welcome to do so. If you want to get rid of that guess and guess a different number, that's fine. But do it. Do it soon if you want to. So yeah, I had fun, guys. I hope you guys did too. It was good. Yeah, just one guess. Just one guess. So if you guessed more than once, we'll take your first guess. We'll take your first. We didn't post the rules, so that's partially my fault. That is partially my fault. If you haven't been here a lot, you might not know that. So that's fine. I get you. No worries. No worries. I tell you what, I'll take your first guess other than 733 because that was kind of a trick. So, alrighty, are we slowing down? Second real guess. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Shane. Thank you. All right, Casey, it looks like they've slowed down, so if you want to throw some stop signs up, I would greatly appreciate that. And we'll find us a winner. Oh, Tim beat you to it. Tim beat you to it. There we go. All right, so there is your number, guys. 690. That's okay. 690. Now, 733 was the Nevada's whole number. 690 was the USS Philadelphia's whole number. So we were kind of in there. So 690. So closest without going over 690. There's a 686 for David. Oh, Williams Knife Life with a 690. Scott N with a 690. Some guys went with 688. That was good. You were on the right track with 688. You were definitely on the right track with 688. So it looks like Williams Knife Life and Scott N both had 690. So we're going to do a round two because I only have the one coin. Sorry, guys. So round two. So Scott N and Williams Knife Life. Round two for you guys. Round two for Scott N. I got to get another number. I live in Philly. Oh, nice. Nice. So let's do. All right, for Scott N and Williams Knife Life, round two. One number, closest, doesn't matter over, doesn't matter under. 1 to 15. Between 1 and 15. Williams Knife Life, and Scott N. One guess. 1 to 15, closest. Casey says 37. Scott N. and Williams Knife Life. One guess between 1 and 15. T-Fetches, say 3. We'll see who our winner is. Scott N. says 9. I want both of them to win too, Sobix, but I only have the 1 coin. Scott says 9, and Williams Knife Life says 8. It was 1 to 15. The number is 9. The number is 9. Scott N., you won the coin from myself, and you won a BigRedEDC coin from B for Baron. So do me a favor, Scott. Shoot me your address if you would. You can do it email. You can do it on Instagram. Either way, we talk a lot on Instagram. So if you just want to shoot me your address on Instagram, that'll be cool. You should play the lottery today. There you go. There you go. So, yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here. This was a lot of fun. We did talk about knives just a teeny bit, kind of. So, thank you guys for coming, for showing up. It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a terrific rest of your week. And hopefully I'll see you guys Saturday night for a little SKL action. So, have a good day, guys. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. You're welcome, Maddie.